I need money. I was a candy stocker, and then if I wanted overtime, I could stock cigarettes. And everybody thought you were batshit crazy, but I was like, look, we're gonna do stuff that people are gonna be like, what the F is he doing that for? You don't tell somebody like me I'm overqualified. I'm just gonna tell you, I've interviewed for several jobs where I'm an intimidating figure because of my knowledge. I'm not trying to power play you.
To be fair, like the last deadlift that I pulled with the Hummer tire deadlift was special.
Yeah, it's
like a big moment.
Like when that went down, that was like, even I'm sitting there like, that's 2 effing years in the making, that deadlift.
Yeah, so it's like just where do these guys want to go, right? Like how much weight do you want to put on the bar? I can go more. Welcome to the Shaw Strength Podcast. We are mobile today.
Yes, sir.
We are in North Carolina with Joe Kenn, Big House Power. We're actually in his gym, which is kind of fun, man.
Yeah.
Like sitting in here, we got the gym tour going, doing some content for the Shaw Elite app today, which was a heck of a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And now we're
a lot of work done today.
Yeah, and now we're kind of just sitting down to kind of talk shop a little bit. So, topics, you guys can go back. We did a podcast with House a little while back, kind of talking, your childhood and growing up playing football, some of your experiences. But I think today let's maybe talk about like your chapter, like when you got done with the NFL, right? Like walking out of that, and like, because I feel like for you, and how I would relate this is like me walking out of strongman.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like you were so focused and the best, right? Like you're the best in being a strength coach, and this is what you've done. This is what you've lived for how long, right? And so then that chapter is like, oh, wait a minute, what's going to happen now? So like what was, I'm curious about like your shift, because I know initially after that we talked a little bit and it was like, well, maybe if the right job came up, maybe I'd get back in, maybe do I want to get back in? Like, where do you go with that,
Yeah, I think my wife never understood this, where I said a lot of times, I always went to work with the chance of getting fired. Yeah. I didn't use that as like that was something negative. It was something I wanted to be mentally prepared for, because really, up until Louisville, I'd never gotten fired. I'd left jobs on my own where I thought it was a step in the right direction to advance my career.
Makes sense.
We take another step like that, go to Louisville. 2 years later, things don't work out. A new coach comes in. I'm let go. You can call it what it is. You got fired.
Yeah.
So then right there's your first pivot. So now it's, and at that point, not to speak, I don't want to sound like it's a cocky or arrogant, but at that point in time, I built this reputation through what we accomplished with the athletes I had, the coaching staffs that I had. I mean, I've had some really high quality staff members. I mean, they're called assistants, but they were staff members.
Sure.
We gave them the best opportunities, and a lot of them wound up being extremely successful right now as head strength coaches on their own.
Yeah.
And you get this. So for me, that, like anything else, gives you this continuous increase in respectability, how people perceive you, but it also raises your salary.
Yes, it does.
So at that point in time, when I left college at Louisville, I was one of like the top 6 or 8 highest paid strength coaches.
As you should be.
In America.
Because you earned that.
I knew the numbers and negotiated wisely, and always learned the numbers early in my career. Like, what's the game I'm playing? Because people always talk about, I do it for free. I do it for getting paid.
Yes.
To take care. Doing it for free doesn't take care of my family and my kids. Yeah. Like, again, just to backtrack, when I was at Boise State, I stocked candy at Costco on weekends for over a year because I needed diaper money for Peter.
That's crazy.
So I need money.
Yeah, Well, and this is the thing. How much time and energy are
we work
dedicating?
7 days a week, 365.
Yeah.
You got 1 week, maybe 4th of July week where you had vacation. So
that's crazy to think that, though. Like, you're doing a side job to support your family, and then putting in how many hours?
Yeah, it was. I worked. It was a shift. It was a 4 to 10 shift, because wake up at 3. I worked Saturdays and Sundays. 4 to 10. I was a candy stocker, and then if I wanted overtime, I could stock cigarettes. But from 4 to 10, they want everything done. So they open the doors at 10.
Okay.
They want everything up. So you're out there, and if the butter fingers are low, you go in the back and restock the pallets, and then you got to face everything up. And I just happen to have the candy aisles, and then, hey, Joe, you want to work overtime? You can go stock cigarettes. And then here's the good thing is, if you did a good job, if you know Costco, they gave you a coupon for a free hot dog and a Coke.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah.
$1.50.
Yeah, so, hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, I think minimum wage was 3 something, and they were paying $7.50, and I needed it. Like, I was at that point in time, the salary was what it was at Boise. My wife was working, and again, you just learn the value of the right partner, and why I continue to tell her even to this day, I owe her, because what people don't understand is certain things that women do and can do that we can't.
100%.
One is have our children, and 2 is postpartum's real.
Yes.
And my wife had it and had to go back to work 2 weeks after my first son was born, because she was the breadwinner at that time. I was still in grad school.
Yeah.
So you learn a lot about family, what's right. And that's why when I went to Utah, I always told her, the next job I get, you're never working.
Yeah.
And I got the Utah job, and really she's never had to work. She took a little part-time job once, but for the most part, she takes care of us.
Yeah.
So when I got to the Louisville deal and it went bad, there were jobs that were available, but the salary wasn't was below what I felt my market value was. I valued myself like, if I'm a business, what's my valuation?
Yep.
Well, if I'm a top 8 strength coach, I can't take top 100 money.
No, of course.
Because as you know, in business, and this is my thought process, God's honest truth, is if I come back low, then every other person after that, we got him.
Yep.
We're going to get this dude cheaper than what his value is, because we can pay him 20 more than he's making now, and he's going to come because it's 20 more when it should be 120
Sure,
more.
you've stepped down.
So I had to deal with that. That was my first real face of adversity, where my wife and I made some discussions like, what do we want to do? We had to move. Joe was going into his senior year. Peter was still in middle school, so that move was a little different. So long story short, we're like, you know what, man? We're going to bet on ourselves and not value like, hey, we're worried about wins and losses, and we're going to do something in the private sector. We knew we were going to move back to North Carolina, and at that point in time, we were going to buy a Velocity franchise, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But then we did our due diligence, and I didn't need the Velocity name. I needed the business.
Yes.
Because I'll bet on my name. Like, I wanted my name on the storefront.
100%.
Just like you want Shaw Strength on the storefront.
Yep.
I wanted Big House Power on the storefront. So as we went through that, this is where you learn a lot about economics and real estate and what are you really buying. We were close. We were real interested. But as I continued to do my due diligence, 2 things came to point was, what was I buying? Because they didn't own the building. So, and then the book of business and the amount of traffic wasn't kind of as explosive as I would have liked it.
Yeah.
And when you start to do the numbers, it's like, okay, if I have to pay a certain amount of money to just buy the franchise from this ownership group, so then I'm paying them what I owe them on a loan.
Yep.
But then I have to pay a lease.
Yeah.
And then what do I own? I own an email list.
That's it.
So I'm like, this isn't good business for me.
No, especially when you have your name and credentials.
So fortunately, a former teammate of mine, Ricky Prohl, 17-year NFL vet, 2-time Super Bowl champ, played with him in college. He already had a big, huge sports park.
Okay.
And was doing some different things in it. So my wife goes, reach out to Ricky.
Yeah.
So I said, Rick, here's my situation. Would you be interested in subletting some space?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So now I have Big House Power within Prolific Park.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, hey man, this could be the next chapter right here.
Yeah.
And Rick was great because, and here's the difference between like starting your own business with your own brick and mortar versus subletting into a space that already has traffic.
Yeah.
It can help get your business started faster when he's recommending and people are seeing, hey, what they got going over there?
Yeah.
Instead of opening up a brand new building and people wondering, what's the flyer on my dashboard that
100%.
when you come out of the
Yeah.
grocery store?
Yeah.
So that started, so we moved that, and that was moving up really, really well. And I learned a lot about business from that standpoint. And then within 9 to 10 months, Panther job opens. That's always been my dream job. I happen to be working with Rick. My agent was Steve Smith's agent.
Okay.
So that helped because I coached Steve at Utah, and Jordan Gross, who was another all-time legend. Both those guys are in the Wall of Fame. I coached them both at Utah. So I had some players.
Yeah.
And my agent being Steve's agent, he knew the general manager. The athletic trainer at the time, Ryan Vermillion, was kind of overseeing it. And long story short, I get an opportunity, and they would come. So they call Rick because they want Rick to help with wide receivers.
Okay.
And Rick, so I got a strength coach too.
Yeah.
So everything kind of worked. And at the end, I was fortunate enough to get extended the job.
Yeah.
9-year run.
That's amazing.
Coaching change. The new coach comes in. I knew I was done. And like, again, so fired again. I like to say, because it's the NFL's funny, I had an expiring contract, so I just, my guy who writes for The Athletic for the Panthers said, Coach Kenn's contract was not renewed. He was on expiring contract, which sounds better than I got yod. So I had an expiring contract that wasn't renewed.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, so that brings it to this. So now I know, okay, 32 jobs in the NFL.
Yeah.
I had one of them. Nobody wants to give them up.
Yeah.
It just did, the transitions with different coaches, it just didn't work out. I got to get a job. And because I was on an expiring contract, I needed a job like now because my last paycheck, I think, was going to be, I got let go late January. My last paycheck was going to be mid-February. The next paycheck at the end of the month, I'm going into savings.
Got it.
So my transition's got to be fast.
Sure.
A lot of times you have an extra year, but
Okay.
Under the new ownership, a lot of the people he knew he didn't have to extend,
Got it.
he did. So I knew when I didn't get extended for the first time, like, okay, this is not going to, if we don't win, it's going to go bad for all of us.
Got it.
And my thought process was, unlike a lot of coaches, and I'm not saying that they're right or wrong in their thinking, because everybody wants to be a coach, wants to continue to coach.
Yeah.
But I also understand landscapes. I've been out of college so long, so my college connections were very, very limited, and a lot of those coaches were not in a position to hire me. And now at this point too, my knowledge base experience, I'm just going to tell you, I've interviewed for several jobs where I'm an intimidating figure because of my knowledge. I'm not trying to power play you. I'm just speaking with passion and enthusiasm. And now that's a lot of detriment. People get scared of people who are so in love with what they do, and they come across like, and they don't know he's somebody. You don't tell somebody like me I'm overqualified.
Yeah.
That's not a compliment.
No, not at all.
To me, that's telling me exactly what I need to know.
Yeah.
You're not prepared to have someone with like me in your building.
Yes.
And I've heard that 3 times for sure, maybe 4, since I've been out in different discussions.
Yeah.
To a point where when I hear it, I get a little bit pissed, and it comes off that way.
Yeah.
So my thought was, okay, most people in my case can get a BS job for a year and get right back in the cycle. Oh, I'll get a job next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
My process was, I know my age,
Yeah.
I know the role I'm in,
Yeah.
and it was, I need to find a position where if I don't get a job, I'll have a second career, because I'm not bouncing around with, I'm not doing that for my wife, I'm not doing that for my kids,
Sure,
I'm not doing that for me.
Yeah.
I want stability. I want to know where I'm at. I want to build and learn and build another reputation in something different. Obviously, I want to stay in the fitness realm.
Of course. Yeah.
So I had several people I can lean on. that I've always been able to lean on in times of need. And that's when you find out like your real friends. Like I've had people say, "Oh man, I can't believe you got fired," and then their resume is already on the desk trying to get my job. That's just the nature of it is. You accept it, but like, yeah, you couldn't have called me first. I already know your resume. You called me after I already know your resume is on the coach's desk.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And again, no big deal. That's part of it. I've probably done it myself down
Yeah.
at some point in time. So I talked to my one buddy and I go, "Hey man, this is what I'm let go." This was a Wednesday. I don't know the dates for sure. It was a Wednesday. I just packed up my stuff Tuesday, was back here Wednesday. I said, I'm looking to try to find a company, equipment company or something where I can be a brand ambassador, represent the brand, go to events, speak at clinics, do some educational content, and see if my knowledge base, the credentials and respect level and how I'm seen in this field has value to a company.
Yeah.
Now I had a couple of companies that are well established that I think they were interested.
Yeah.
And then my buddy calls me within 10 minutes, goes, "You're never going to believe this. I got the ideal spot for you."
Yeah.
And I go, "Who?" He goes, "Dynamic Fitness and Strength." I said, "Well, tell me about them." And they go, they're a company that's looking for brand recognition. They make very good equipment.
Yeah.
And they have no traction.
Yeah.
And they're trying to break into, they were in the high schools a lot, especially regionally. They're out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We're out of Eau Claire. And they want to expand. They feel like they've got the wherewithal to expand.
Yeah.
And I said, "Man," and I'm like, "Come on, man, you serious?" He goes, "No, I'm dead serious." He goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, yeah, I'd love to talk. If they're willing to talk, I'm willing to talk."
Yeah.
So that was Wednesday. On Friday of that week, I get a text from it's a husband and wife owner, Kurt and Tammy Tambernino, and Kurt extends, "Hey, we'd love to get on a call with you tomorrow to discuss what we're thinking," because they're creating something from scratch too.
Makes sense.
Like they're trying to figure this whole game out because they come from the fabricating and finishing side. Like they made their big investments and wins in automotives.
Okay.
Like if you're familiar with trailer hitches, the Kurt trailer hitch, that's theirs.
Okay.
So they were with U-Haul. They are very big into manufacturing. They do work with our parent company works with Caterpillar, Rolls-Royce.
Oh wow.
It's the real deal. So I know how I am. I'm better in person.
Yeah.
And I'm better when I can see you.
Yeah, yeah.
So in this day and age, I was like, well, why don't we FaceTime?
Yeah.
Because I know that's gonna help me.
Of course.
And they're like, "You know what? That's even better."
Yeah.
So Saturday we get on a call. I can tell you, I was sitting right there in that blue chair you were in.
Okay.
And I tell my story, they tell their story. I tell some of my story, they tell their story. And we're like on the phone for like 3 hours.
Oh man, awesome.
And the next thing I know, they're like, "Well, we'd like to fly you and your wife out next week. Can you come out Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And I walk in and go, "Hey, we're flying to Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Nice.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for an interview."
Yeah.
And so we go up and we go through and they're showing us the stuff. And I mean, it's one of our rack lines is really it's overbuilt.
Yeah.
The quality, the manufacturing, it's just an overbuilt, super sturdy rack. So we're looking at the racks, and at this point in time, I had worked with another company and helped them design a rack line.
Got it.
That I used to have in this gym, and my wife's like, "This is better than what you have in the house." And I said, I helped design what's in the house." She goes, "Yeah, I know what's at the house." And I'm like, "All right, well, right." And Angie's been in plenty of weight rooms.
Yeah, yeah.
So she understands what we're doing, and she's been to plenty of trade shows.
Sure, seen a lot.
Plenty of equipment.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "All right, well, there's scratch off." Well, then what really got me when it came from brand recognition and knowing what I know of the exhibit halls in my events that I go to was we actually had 2 of the inverse leg curls at the Panthers. And at that time, so I didn't even know that it was manufactured by Dynamic the way the sales rep sold me the pieces.
Interesting. Okay.
So I was like, "You make those?" I go, "Yes, I had 2 of those at the Panthers. I didn't know you guys made them."
Yeah.
Because I can't remember how it was presented, but again, so now I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now I see why they're interested in someone that can bring them brand
because they
recognition.
need to get it out there.
They need it to get out there.
Yeah.
And the more I'm looking at the stuff, I'm like, because the one thing, like when you're endorsing product, first of all, I've got to believe that the product does have value.
100%.
And I have to believe that I can make a positive effect.
Yep.
Because my name's on the line too.
Absolutely.
I'm betting on my name to help your brand.
Yeah.
So we get down, we start sitting, and things are really aligning. Very good conversations, and for the lack of a better, we start talking numbers.
Yeah.
That's always hard, as you know. That's why people want agents, because it's easy for someone to talk for you when it comes to numbers.
Yeah.
And we've got a good little framework of what that package could look like. And sure enough, so we leave that weekend. We have a draft, and within 10 days of the first call, I'm a member of Dynamic Fitness and Strength, and now come Wednesday, it's 6 years already.
That's crazy.
And exactly what I had hoped. If coaching was not going to be in the picture, was I have a substantial impact on another company's success.
Yep.
Because they rolled the dice and bet on the opportunity, and I rolled the dice on myself and figuring out, hey, I could help them.
Yes.
And they are helping me
Yeah.
by giving me still a platform to excel and continue to be a significant impact in strength and conditioning in team sports settings,
Absolutely.
as well as being able to venture off and doing things like Coach Brian Shaw, Coach Tom Evans, and do some other super cool things with a couple of other partners. And it took me, like we were talking at lunch, and it took me 2 years to really understand what I had and how great it was.
Sure.
And I also think it took them a couple of years to really understand where I was going, because I've had a couple of offers where I've turned down because I just didn't feel like the value is there. And the further I get away and the more cool things I get to be exposed to, people always go, I'm never not going to say I wouldn't coach again.
Yeah.
But the specifics of what that looks like gets finer and finer and finer.
Which
for
makes
me.
sense.
It's like there's super duper specific things that I'm interviewing you now way more than you're going to interview me, because I'm very fortunate to have what I've had these 6 years and still be everywhere I want to be. Like, you know my summer travel. It was convention off, 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 Shaw, strongest man on earth, Shaw Classic weekend, and then go into football season and have a break. And everybody's like, oh, you gotta hate it. I love it. I love being out there. I love now that I can meet a lot of the newer generation of coaches, or the younger. I mean, they're all younger than me, most of them now, but these are people who have read my work or know of me, that if I'm coaching in a team setting, they're probably not seeing me. For various reasons, organizational practices, team setting. So now I get to see a lot more people who knew who I am, but now they get to know me face to face.
Absolutely.
I still think in this day of Zoom, FaceTime, and things like that, and like we talk about, even now, you being here is so much more exciting than if we were doing the same things we did today over FaceTime or a Zoom.
Of course.
So that's where that value of human interaction is lost. And it can never be lost in coaching. Is AI going to affect things in a positive and negative way? That's for your own opinion, but it's going to come more and more in athletics. But until it becomes an emotional quotient, until somebody can figure that out,
that's not.
That's the key. It's knowing that you can push somebody further than they imagined, because you understand the wherewithal of what the human body is. Again, I related back to this a lot when it comes to that. And Eddie Hall confirmed what I had thought. The more I was out these last 6 years, the more I watched, obviously with the strongman, I got way involved in depth now, like I'm in the game. And then I always respected the professional CrossFitter. And again, I'm not going to go back and forth. I still question the general pop CrossFitting sometimes, and a lot of it's because of bad coaching. I mean, the structure of the programming is 100% based on coaching.
Yeah.
And I think CrossFit early on got a bad rap because so many people thought they could coach it.
Yeah.
And the way they were promoting like Krusty the Clown Rhabdo and things like that. And I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus. I'm just speaking. But high-level CrossFitters and strongmen have done something that I think, and like I said, Eddie, and you'll see how I circle this through, was when I watched the things that you guys were doing, and it goes back to the Roger Bannister and breaking the 4-minute mile, and I watched the things CrossFitters do in their sport, a lot of those things that we were taught in school were impossible. And what I believe happened is what y'all did in your sport and what they're doing in their sport is they've increased the fearlessness or that fight or flight syndrome to where they can push their bodies further in a direction of where the typical person would say no. And I believe that, and when it really resonated to me was when I heard an Eddie Hall interview when he was talking about how he trained for the 500 kilogram deadlift. And he was talking about, again, what Hafthor's done in the last couple of years is incredible. But what Hafthor, nothing to take away from it, because I'm sure I do that in pounds, is he had someone already prove it could be done. Eddie didn't. And Eddie did something that was even more crazy because he wasn't going from 500 or 490 to 500. He was going from 465 to 500. It wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna chip it up.
No, it's a big jump. So
he was saying something when he was meeting with his mental coach that he had to get into that dark place of what we hear when the grandma lifts a car off somebody. That it's in us. But how do you get it out of you in a controlled setting where it's not a reactionary setting? Like, hey man, I got to lift this car up. I got to get this guy out. Versus I'm going to walk up and do a 500 kilogram deadlift. And when he was talking about it, like he didn't even want to bring up what that was in the interview, what that point was. And I could only imagine what he had to come up with to do that. But that's when it really clicked was, I think I was on something that when these guys started, again, like, when you came out, you pulled 400 kilogram deadlift. That was supposed to be legit. Then everybody started doing it. And then, I mean, everybody. And now, if you don't pull 1,000, you're considered, you got to bring up your deadlift. And why?
The standard one.
And it's funny how like certain standards continue to kind of, you break these barriers, but then you have some of them like, well, how come the long jump records stay so long? Or how come certain things it takes?
Well, you could. I mean, it's that. I mean, that's a great question because you have to think, what's possible, right? Like, and then you have to put it in your head and say, well, I think whatever is possible, right? And I don't know where, like with the like pressing, for example. I mean, like you're saying, like a 200 kilo log has always been pretty much the gold standard. Yeah, like you're above 200, you're going to be scoring points at most contests. And then if you take it up to 210, you take it to 220. Now we're starting to talk about rare air, right? Where you're getting up to that type of number. Deadlift would be the same. And it was that 880, 400 kilos, then it was 900. Right, and then it was like, who's going to pull in the low 900s? Then who's in the upper 900s? And then who's breaking 1,000? And then where do you go from there? And I think that it's like that mentality of like what's possible, right? Like and the limitation of mentally saying something's impossible.
And I think in the physical fitness world, those two sports, a lot of you crack the code to a different level. And that's where, like you said, that's where certain things may not be possible for every one of us. But what we're doing, I think there is something you think's impossible in you. Is in you. But could you mentally get to that point without having to have some crazy circumstance where you're involuntary just do it because it has to be done? The fact that in Eddie's case, he was able to control that, whatever that dark place was, to know he had to do it, and understood he'd been training to do it. tells you a lot about the importance of mental fortitude, but also the value and the quality now of where we talk now with mental health and awareness, not only from helping you with mental illness, but now on the other side, the mental performance side.
Sure.
And I've seen that. I know I think you were working with somebody towards the end of your career, and I have a guy in my entourage or Rolodex that's high level, who's an ex-strength coach, who's worked with me at 3 different spots, and has really done a great job with the people that I've gotten in touch with of understanding things,
sure,
and how it relates. And that's important too, that he's a competitor. He played football, he's powerlifted, he's done strongman as a 231 athlete back in the day, so he understands a lot of what we're asking these high level competitors. And that's where, like, for me, I like where I'm at. I miss coaching. Like I told you, you did me a solid when you asked me to come aboard officially. Thomas has done me a solid. Rain did me a solid this week when I worked with the Fort Bragg guys and the women. And that's to me is the ability to diversify this uniqueness of now what's happening with expertise. I think we're in the age of expertism in the field of performance.
Sure.
Like when you were coming up as a strength coach and you came to work for us, at that point in time, you still, not only did you need to be a quality strength coach, but you're going to have kids coming in with issues.
Sure.
You're going to have to deal with that.
Yep.
You're going to have kids that are hurt. You're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to help with them with nutrition.
Yep.
You know, and then
All
whatever the data collection. Now there's experts for all that, which there should be.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I always go back to, for as many athletes as I tried my hardest to help when they came into my office and shut the door.
Yeah.
Like I could give you a hug.
Yeah.
I could love you up. I could give you a pep talk, but knowing what I know now,
sure,
there's probably something that I was unaware of that was deeper.
Yeah.
That you needed somebody that
to help out
was
with.
a professional.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's only so many hugs that are going to help you, may get you through the next hour.
Yeah.
But what happens when you go to the dorm and you're revisiting things? So that's where I'm a fan of this expertism.
Yeah.
I think the big thing now as I see this 30,000 foot view is how it's organized. I still think is a work in progress in a lot of American sports.
I think so. I mean, I think what's possible. It's such a fascinating conversation because what makes one athlete compared to another think a certain way, right? Like, and I remember the guys in the gym. They would come up with the craziest stuff and they'd present it and they'd say, all right, Brian, what do you think? Right? Like, can you lift this? And I would literally never say impossible. I would say it may take some training. We need to approach it a little bit different, whatever. But I would never say that, literally. So it was never a limitation to what was possible. It was always, and going in, some of those contests that I did, it was like a deadlift number. I would always go in and I would firmly believe that whatever the contest was at certain points in my career, I could lift whatever I needed to lift.
Right.
So it was like just where do these guys want to go, right? Like how much weight do you want to put on the bar? I can go more.
Yeah.
And that's a very powerful mental spot to get to. But then getting there through training, you have to believe it in your soul that it's possible. Because if you doubt it, if you let a little bit of doubt get in your head, you're not going to do it.
Not to bring it up, but like when we first started working together, I think there was some doubt.
Well, and
with the hamstring and the deadlift, and it was like, oh shit, man, the weight's getting heavy.
the rebuild, and I think that part of that, and to be fair, where the mental side of it for me came in was after I had the hamstring tear, and then I had it a couple times.
Yeah.
I started, and I hated it. I hated it because I would go up and I'd strap into the bar and it was just that doubt of like, well, and it's not that I am not going to attack it, but it's the uncertainty of knowing
is this the rep?
Yeah. Is it going to hold on?
What you say. I do that with my back. It's like, that's why like when people go, hey man, why are you dialing in on 135? Okay, because 635, brother.
Yeah, you're treating
I'm treating every rep
yeah.
like it's the rep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's it. And people don't understand that. That's hard to get.
Yeah.
It takes the confidence. It's not like it's there,
Yeah.
and you're like, but it's always, is this the rep?
Yeah.
Is this the rep? And that's super, super hard for any athlete to get. It's just like
Yeah.
coming off an ACL,
Yeah.
and you got to go back out to the field. It's like,
Yeah.
am I ready?
Yeah.
Did
Well,
I do
that's-
the rehab?
and that
Is it going to go? Oh, I got to cut. You're
Yeah.
making me cut today?
Yeah.
Wait, am I ready to cut? Like,
Well, see, and that's where it was so important, I think, in the rebuild, and this is something we haven't talked about a touch with me, was like, all right, like there's a lot of stuff I had to do, right? and what I would say is my confidence was gained through training, right?
100, yeah.
More so, and I'm not gonna say the guy that I worked with mentally, like I think walking into those meetings with him, I was at such a high level, like so in tune with what was going on for me, that he wasn't telling me anything that I hadn't already discovered, or
Right.
like I wasn't already
but there's
aware
also
of.
that, I always say what that means, if he's confirming what you're already thinking,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay,
When
sometimes I need confirmation.
he did say some valuable
Yeah.
things, right? Like, because I was one of the biggest things for me is I was trying to control things that I was not in control of, right? Like in that, and he's like, Brian, you're wasting so much energy, mental capacity around these things that you have no way of controlling it, right? You have to control what you can control. And so that was attitude, effort. It was putting it in training. Then, I think the resiliency, me gaining more confidence and being more resilient with the deadlift, especially like as we built it, because there was like a lot of hard training sessions.
And that first year was, we were both learning each other.
Yeah.
And we were especially going into that first World's Strongest Man. And again, like, like that first year was like, ooh, man, I don't like the ladder. Remember, I don't want to do this ladder. Like, you were pissed on the event.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But the thing that I thought during that plan was, and this is what I appreciated from you, was, and everybody thought you were batshit crazy, but I was like, look, we've got to do shit you've never done.
Yeah.
Because we've got to build all the shit around it.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like, hey, man, we're going to do stuff that people are going to be like, what the F is he doing that for?
Yeah.
But I think when it was all said and done, and it took 2 years, that building that frame and building that new base helped you gain power and strength in different areas that, not that they weren't strong, but if you don't train it, it's only as strong as the accessory works.
Yeah.
That probably helped the overall hamstring itself. And that's where people have to look at, like, when we talk about like movements and exposure. And that was the best part, like for you, is we had the time to do it. It wasn't like, look, man, I roll from one meet to the other. I don't know if it ever goes right.
No.
And that's where working with somebody who knew exactly the game plan of what I do was a benefit to somebody like me, because that was my skill set. And then as a performance coach for a single sport strength athlete, the competition part was where I had to grow and learn. Because that game I learned right away is, okay, this is a different, you're not training some dude to go, this is a whole different, his comp shit, this is practice. Like, and that's where you learn, like, this is practice, and you got to be very aware. And these guys here, they're and like you said, the mindset's so different. All the things that you think from a traditional standpoint are out the window in comp training for a strongman.
Well, and see what made that, like going into, let's just say 22, right? With the deadlift there. So it's deadlift ladder, which for me, I would openly say I didn't like that event, right? Because I had developed my rhythm of deadlifting where I would set up, I would engage, I would roll the bar, I would roll into position, I would get tight, and then I would explode, right? Like I'd done it. And so the way that and even more so when we got there, the setup was not good. The staging was not good. The bars, but in order to be efficient with that, I couldn't take the time to roll the bar.
The timing would have,
So it was like I had to almost, not only were we rebuilding the deadlift, now I had to come up with something that I hadn't done. And so it's like I'm coming in and I need to set my feet and I need to pull from a set position. you know, and then the staging's also rolling to one side, right? Like, so it's like
Right.
the whole thing is rolling. And so like that was
You gotta
super.
strap in, strap out, strap in, strap out.
It was super, and I mean, to be fair, like I came up with my own straps for that. I sewed them so that I could be quick. Like, but again, like that was disappointing because I felt like we were in a different spot. If it would have been a normal deadlift, it would have been good. And then we rolled into the final there, car deadlift for reps, and it was so light. And it was so like we had trained and it was like, well, I could have kept pulling. Like it was like the time ran out, I think, like on me there, right? Like, and it was kind of like, well, it should have been heavier, but then you don't get to decide that. So it was like I was like genuinely around that contest disappointed because there was more there.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you make that car deadlift 100 pounds heavier and I'm probably doing close to the same reps. It was like,
oh, I know.
It was just easy, you know, but so it's like rebuilding, but you got to step outside your comfort zone. And that's what I did.
And,
right? Like,
at that point in your career to do that, that's commendable.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like, yeah, man, I've been doing this too long.
Sure.
I'm not doing that.
No. Well, and we even had the conversation that I was probably
too coachable year one. And that was my fault because I was like, golly, this dude is putting it on me pretty good. Like I would have thought he had a little bit more, but we learned. Like, remember what I say the next year when you called? I said, look, man, this is how it's going.
Well, see, and even then, like, and this is whatever, like 23, we were in a good. I felt like in World's Strongest Man in 23, the deadlift in the final, we were ready for that.
Oh yeah.
Right, like I had a better. In all fairness, I would argue that I had a better setup than anybody because I had bought the bar, right? Like I have everything.
Yeah.
I had everything. And then the way that played out, you know, again, with the stone off the way it went, right? Like I was so disappointed because in the final I was so ready for that deadlift, right? And so it's just a couple things play different. And then all of a sudden it's like I'm 10, maybe 10 reps, 9, 10, 11, like on that deadlift.
And even then, the pack fell back to you because you were like, and then the numbers didn't correlate, and you still wound up with a better placing than you probably would have thought when you first went out and pulled. But I mean, but like again, the stone off was like a separate event.
No, it's
of the whole show, and
it's
like,
crazy, and people don't. You know, again, that's it's now history, right? Like that was what it was, but people don't understand. And again, as a contest promoter, you have to understand the load and the demand that you're placing on the athletes, and so it's kind of like, okay, well, anybody in their right mind would argue that you put an athlete in a stone off the day before the final. You're not getting 100% athlete in the final,
and especially with
if you have to go to the well.
And again,
especially.
and credit to Rhino.
He
didn't give it to you, and he went. And again, as much as we don't want to say it, in the end, that was one of the best things. They still talk about. People still talk about that.
It was crazy.
But I mean, if you count his load and your load. I mean, come on, man. That was a lot of reps.
It was,
So, but I mean, again, like you said, it is what it is. In the end, like we talk about it, you wish for better results.
Yeah.
But the truth is, when we all look at it, to me personally, the script was written the way it was supposed to be. That you went out the strongest man on earth.
Well,
you had that title already. The fifth would have put you in a different stratosphere and passes a few other guys, but to earn a different title in your own event in your last, when you knew it was over, there's a little icing on the cake.
No, of course, and then all that rebuild, rebuild those moments, man, like that. To be fair, like the last deadlift that I pulled with the Hummer tire deadlift was special. It's like a big moment.
Like when that went down, that was like I'm sitting there like. That's 2 effing years in the making, that deadlift.
Yes, huge.
I mean, it was, and I knew that, man, because I think that last session I FaceTimed in on, and I was like, oh, it's on. He's back.
We had it, and but it's like, but the work into that moment, like you said, 2 years.
Man, it was,
so
and that's
it's like
what
kind
of,
don't,
and what was gratifying to me as a coach was when we were at Strongest Man, even with maybe not the most reps, when guys like you hear Terry Hollins and Eddie go,
Yeah.
oh, that's the old Brian deadlift.
Yeah.
Now for me to hear that, because I know what they were there
Sure.
with the old Brian deadlift, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
took us a little longer than we all hoped, but
Yeah.
that's
We're
a
there.
compliment that I can savor.
Well, and the longevity, man. It's like that. That's what I think a lot of people.
Yeah, like when you look at that particular competition, and again, is anybody going to go that many years straight in the finals? I think you and Big
15.
Z have the tied with 10 podiums or something
Yeah.
crazy like that. Like those are things.
Well, 15 straight.
Yeah, and then
Like that's what's.
nobody's going to do that.
I
Nothing
don't know.
against anybody, because
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's going to have the wherewithal to go that long.
Well, then
Especially
16.
in this day and age when you got so many different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had 16 straight and 15 finals.
15 finals. Yeah.
I mean those are, those are marks that are, those are legendary marks, and that's
Yeah.
why, like again, like when people, I think that what I've come to, you have like I call for myself sometimes, because it's hard not to really sit back and go, hey man, I am not telling people I'm that good.
Yeah.
I didn't create. You're not saying I'm the GOAT. People are saying it for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, at some point, it's like I'm not going to apologize because people feel like I've done this type of work in my field.
Sure.
I said, because I put in the work.
Yeah.
I wasn't handed anything. And then,
earned.
like I always tell people, look,
Yeah.
I didn't write what I created to make it known around the world. I wrote a program because the women's basketball coach said she was tired of doing old football programs.
Yeah.
So my job is to do right by my athletes.
Yeah.
I didn't. Did I think?
But then that stemmed.
Then it becomes
grew.
okay. Wait.
Yeah.
There's value here. Let's put it out. Hey, let's do this. Hey, then my other guys. Hey, House, you need to write a book on this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's going to buy it? And then next thing you know, you got people from other countries. Hey, man,
Yeah.
we do the tier system. Or, oh, yeah, woo, woo. And I'm like, I'm going overseas next June to speak over in Leeds. And that's the same thing. So, like, I get to that point now where I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I try not to, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not apologizing anymore, because
No.
I looked at things differently, as you have.
Yeah.
And you succeeded.
Yeah.
And I know that no one does it by themselves. Nothing happens without my wife. Nothing.
Yeah. Me too.
I do whatever I want. I mean, you've seen enough to know, like, I'm just, hey, we say, we're the Kens. We do what you want. She goes where she goes. I go where I go.
Yeah.
Sometimes we meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's part of the right relationship, the right life partner. And again, like I told you when we did the gym tour, this happened because she said, "Yeah, let's put a gym in."
Yeah.
Now she doesn't like the fact that I've crushed it with all this stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't necessarily either.
Yeah.
But these are my tools, like
Yeah.
When you were with Strongman, your gym was your toolbox.
Yeah.
And have you evolved into a different sport? I've seen over time, you did the last gym tour.
Yeah.
Your toolbox has changed for the way you're training for the different sport,
Sure.
as well as just your overall training mentality now.
Yeah.
And that's things, again, going back to some of the things we talked about earlier today. That's how people have to view things, is how are you evolving yourself into being better prepared for how you see your life moving forward.
For sure.
Like, again, there's going to be a time where sooner or later, it's going to be all machines.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, it's just the
Sure.
way it is. But
Get there.
it doesn't mean I ain't going to be in there
Getting it
going
after.
as hard as I can to get the illicit responses that I want. And that's where I think people, circling all the way back through what I've learned over this 6 years out of coaching, is really looking at, like I always say, how do I spin what some people would see as a downer into a positive?
Sure.
Like, do you look at it from the standpoint of, I really wanted to win a 5th title, but I left I left my sport in the strongest man on earth.
Yeah.
Right? I'd already, because deep down, like, again, I go back and look, everybody has different mentality, but like, and we've always said this, for you, second and thirds, you probably don't even know what those trophies are.
Yeah.
And I get it, because when you've reached this level of excellence,
Yeah.
that's not what I trained for.
Sure.
Where other people, I made the finals 5 years in a row.
Sure.
That's their excellence.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because that's what their goal was.
100%.
And that's what you go with. Like I said, we're at a point now with the athletes I work with, we're chasing podiums.
Yeah.
Because if we've never been there, we've got to get on a podium to figure out how to get to the top of the podium.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing what I've learned now with me when I'm structuring people and I'm life and I'm trying to figure out things is like, hey man, don't say what you didn't do. Look at what you have done, and then think about all the people that wish they were you.
Sure. Sure.
Like when I say people sometimes, and I've said this a few times, is, hey, I was a college football player. My goal was to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't even get a chance to get cut. And they go, what do you mean? I go, if I get cut, that means I was there.
Yeah.
And I never even got an opportunity to be there. But what I can tell you is I had an interesting college career. And I think we talked about this earlier on. I started 22 games as a Division I football player. I know a lot of people who are football players that would have loved to have started 22 games in Division I.
100%.
And that's how you have to look at it. Like you can't feel like, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda. If I didn't get hurt, I'd be in the league. Hey man, I coached 9 years in the league, and I used to think that. After 9 years in the league, I go back. Yeah, were you really that good when you thought you were that good? Because these dudes are friggin' legit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like anything else. It's like you find things out and you have to flip it. How do you take these things that, again, I'm not saying it's an acceptance. It's value what you are.
Yeah.
Because there's people who see you in a higher light than you see yourself.
Sure.
And that goes back to some of the things we talked earlier about, the mental of living your life. Like you live your life on be great, and I live my life on words win, because to me, it's not about like the whole is just can I win the day?
Sure.
It's like, did I stack enough bricks to win the day?
Absolutely.
Did I strike out once, but I hit a home run later in the day? Does it balance out? And it's a persona. It's a thought process of trying to set a standard that, even though I fail a lot, and that's one good thing when you have a terrific life partner that's not afraid to check you.
Sure.
Like you think you're on the not so much.
Yeah.
And even like, and again, and I as much as I when it comes, I know that I know why I need it. Mm-hmm. And she's generally right, because I'm selfish. Like,
sure,
I have that in me. Like, I'm like, yeah, I can, like she'll say, you can schedule everything else.
Yeah.
But forget about the people who really matter a lot of times. And a lot of times it's because, I'll be honest with you, I rely on her. Like, And, and it's one of those things that's a really interesting to see how we have we are definitely opposites a lot, but it works, like it puzzles in
really good,
pretty solid. And that's where she's taught me a lot about like understanding how good you have it.
Yeah. And
that's important, because I'm a mean mugger. She is the most positive output, always, like she's always
balanced.
Yeah, like she's really like always sees everything, and like I said, like she's like, I can't believe you went to work every day worrying about getting fired. I said, I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
It's just that this is part of
what it is.
And for me, it makes me wrap my head around it, because when it goes down, I'm not in shock.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting down there with the woe's me.
Sure.
It's like, okay, now it's now I've got to go here, strategize, and move on. And that's the key to a lot of things that what you said, what have I done since coaching, is a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
Self-criticism.
Yeah.
Realizing where I did right or where I am at fault for certain things, towards, in certain situations, while with the Panthers, while with Dynamic, while in my personal life, and then sometimes I just can't get out of my own way,
Yeah.
and that's where you need people with you who can
Help. Yeah.
put you back on
love
the
it.
narrow. So for me, moving forward is continuing to try to make significant impact in my career space, try to continue to expand my growth into understanding really business more, because I'm not slowing down. I don't see myself slowing down. Like I signed up for AI class I think it's a 2-hour class the end of this week into the weekend, because I've got to wrap my head around. Like I don't think I'm better than this, but I hear too many people going, stop using AI like Google.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I'm that bad, but I'm definitely not using it like I need to use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to take this course and figure out, because I'm missing the boat on some of the projects that I want done, that I know AI can expedite the process
And help
for
out
me.
with. Sure.
So those are things that I think are important, and it's not going away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it was, what was one of the things they said? They were like, oh, well, I'm worried AI is going to take my job.
Yeah.
And they go, AI is not going to take your job. The guy who knows AI is going to take your
Sure.
job.
You got to know the tools, right?
So it's crazy stuff. But again, these are the opportunities. Like, again, if I'm in team sports setting right now, we're not having this conversation.
Sure.
And to be honest with you, the further I'm away, I enjoy the fact that you said, hey, I'm coming to make this trip. We're going to do some. I was jacked. I was like, this is like a huge deal, man.
Yeah.
My man Gigantor is showing up
Hitting
to the other Mecca.
Yes.
And we're both at way different points in both of our careers, from 2005 to even 2 years ago when you're a competitor to now working together and trying to put together something special that can make significant impacts on people. Like, I mean, like when I talk to Carrie, we really believe we can do that. And I'm so do I.
Yeah.
I get it, man. Like I get it, because that's what I want to do. I want to see if I can have positive feedback or positivity to somebody else I don't know. Like I said, if you go to the app and you read, I believe it was Chris's deal about, hey, I've done this program, I've already done this, my bench has done this, I'm down this, and
it's
I'm
really
sitting here
cool.
like, or like the story when I worked with Chris for the Shaw Classic 2 years ago. Is Chris a high level strongman? He'll tell you he's not. But what he developed allowed him to help his wife in need,
which is amazing.
and that's more important than anything we did in
Yeah.
the strongman comp. And again, those are things that, and I tell people this, and for you younger generation who are coming up this deal, don't neglect the lessons that you continue to learn.
Yeah.
And when you reflect, like I don't really have many regrets. If I have you'll laugh. The only real regret I have when it comes to like my coaching stuff is when I left Utah to go to Arizona State. Back in the days before summer training, you'd have manuals to hand out to the kids to go home.
Okay.
And I had probably, I don't know, 70, 80 of them.
Okay.
And for some stupid reason, we were downsizing the move, I dumped them.
Oh,
I kept very special ones.
Yeah.
And because at that point, I used them to study to build my programming.
Yeah.
So I actually would get on a board and break down programs and go through stuff. And I asked my assistants if they wanted them, and they said no. And I'm like, do I? And that really, if I had one go back, was I wouldn't have, as much of the other stuff I kept.
Yeah.
Like I've got about 20 years of powerlifting USAs in my garage.
Okay.
A bunch of those. I used to have flex and all that. Those are other things. I don't know where that was at. But like that's the other. And because I know how great a job you and Kerry are doing with the kids is, I missed a lot
with your boys.
My guys and my boys growing up. But like my wife, but my mindset was, I'm taking care of them by doing this, but didn't realize how much I put on my wife until a long time later.
Yeah.
But then I go back. But would I have able to given them what I gave them?
Sure.
If I didn't
Committed.
Not necessarily like what it allowed me to be from a professional standpoint.
Sure.
More of how I just felt like if I can accomplish this at the highest level, I'll be able to do all this for them. And sometimes it was like, shoot, man, I probably missed certain things I could. And I tried. I was able to do probably more than most. Some coaches I know did less than I did.
Sure.
But there's certain things I think I could have done better from a support standpoint.
Sure. Yeah.
And things like that. So those are interesting parts of the journey that and again, I don't have to like some of that stuff. I mean, there's nothing I can do now but to hopefully, and my wife has to remind me too, like, hey, your grandkids are getting older. You keep forgetting when they come over to spend a little time with them. They ain't coming over. My granddaughter's going to be 13 here.
It's coming
in
up.
a couple of months. And
yeah.
now you're preteen, and she's already, getting, she's 2 years away from high school, and then my little guy's 10 already, and he's already bouncing around. So it's
which is wild.
It's just crazy to. So I have to, then you have that competitiveness where my granddaughter's doing volleyball. And I have to be very conscientious because of how I handled my sons.
Sure.
Remember, you're the granddad.
Yeah. You got to be the fun.
And I listen to my son Joe, how he addresses Leighton, and I laugh because I was harder on him like that too. And I see things, and I'm like, not that. I'm like, you didn't kind of like it when I did that, and now you're doing it. You're just giving her the business now about practicing and how she's performing, but now as the granddad, I'll tell Leighton, hey, you know why he's doing this because I said I was hard on your dad. And he means it. Yeah. And I said, and always remember this. When your dad tells me how good you did, times that by 100.
Yes.
Because I know you did super good when he calls me and goes, I was proud of Lay today. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
What? You just said that? So those are the cool things. And I mean, you're seeing it now. Your kids are they're at that real age of where sports is going to take that real, it's going to take a really good turn if they love it or they find their little sports that they can excel at, and
it'll be fun.
And it's going to be good. And the fact that you're capable to be there, the way. And again, I love the way you guys were able to, but you did that. You earned the right to put yourself in a situation where you built that specifically the way you knew.
Sure.
I want to be around my family.
Yeah.
I need to be at work. I want them to understand the value of hard work. Like I love when you'll see when you guys post Saturdays and they're helping you box stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
The only difference is that with Brian was on the farm.
These
guys get the box belts and knee wraps.
Versus hay bales.
Instead of going out there throwing the hay around.
Yeah. I love it, man. Well, great conversation. We could keep going.
I'm glad you guys came. Man.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. You got some value out of it, without a doubt. And hope you're all doing amazing for now. Going to be great. We'll check you guys later. If you enjoyed this podcast episode and would like to listen to another, click right here. And to stay informed about new podcast episodes, click here to subscribe.